Hello, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna be talking about this painting, Edvard Munch's The Scream, in German Der Schrei der Natur. Do you know why this painting is so famous? Do you know why this figure in the foreground is one of the most famous icons in the history? What actually explains this painting to us? To understand it a little bit better, I think we have to go back to his family history, what type of life he had when he was a child. He actually had a kind of dramatic life because there was always sickness in his family. When he was 5 years old, his older sister passed away because of some sickness, and he painted this in 1885 as Sick Child. At that time his older sister was 14 years old, so she basically passed away when she was 14. For example, Self-Portrait with the Skeleton Arm, he also painted this in 1895. Most of the people think that he basically inspired by this pain actually two things of love, anxiety and death. So that's why you can see this type of expressions in his paintings. Also, one day he tells that illness, insanity and death were the black angels that kept watch over my cradle and accompanied me all my life. He had also alcoholism, emotional crisis, nervous breakdowns, problems. So basically we see all of these things in his paintings. In between 1889 and 1892, he moved to Paris. So he started to work there, he started to paint there. During this time of period, he encountered post-impressionist art. For example, Van Gogh or Paul Gauguin. Since Paris, Edvard Munch's art became more symbolic and expressionist. So he was actually expressing anxiety in his painting, in his the Scream painting, but at the same time he used this figure, which we don't know if it is a female or male. He basically humanized it, but still we don't know if this Scream is Edvard Munch's Scream. Maybe he tries to explain something, he tries to explain his desperate life. So again, how he painted this anxiety, and everybody in the world, whenever we look at it, we feel exactly the same thing, everybody at the same time. And that makes this painting actually so famous, because everyone, whoever looks at this painting, feels exactly the same thing, anxiety. So maybe it happened like this. I'm telling you, what happened to your face? You look like mommy, like a chachapoya mommy. What is happening? Maybe it happened like this. I knew it. You're the Scream from Edvard Munch's painting. So what actually happened? How he basically painted this? So one day he was walking with his two friends in the Christina Ekeberg hill, and he basically explains this like this. I was walking along the road with two friends. The sun was setting. Suddenly the sky turned blood red. I paused, feeling exhausted, and leaned on the fence. There was blood and tongues of fire above the blue-black fjord and the city. My friends walked on, and I stood there trembling with anxiety. And I sensed an infinite scream passing through the nature. So since he painted the sky blood red, some experts, they were thinking where this is coming from, like why this is blood red. Maybe he was inspired by the volcanic eruption in Krakatoa, Indonesia in 1883. So some of the experts, they are thinking he might be inspired by this volcanic eruption which happened at that time, or maybe it was just the sun setting and he just added more orange and blood red into the sky. So but we still don't know where this almost humanized figure is coming from. In 1877, a mummy was found by the scientists in near Amazons. So this mummy was a Peruvian Chachapoya mummy, which was brought to Paris in 1889 for a world exhibition. And that's why some of the experts, they are claiming that maybe Munch was visiting this exhibition and he saw this mummy during the exhibition, and then he inspired by this mummy and he basically used this in his painting. And that's why we still don't know if this mummy if this figure was explaining Munch himself, or is it explaining maybe the nature, or maybe both. And he is not the only person who used this mummy in his paintings. Paul Gauguin, he also painted this, and even more. So that's why most of the people think that most probably they all saw this mummy and they painted it because they were really impressed by it. But this painting is not the only version of the screen painting. Basically, Edvard Munch painted 4 different versions of this. Additionally, lithography and ink drawing. So in 1893 he painted basically this one. This one is most probably the earliest version. He did not use oil color, he used pastel color on cardboard. And in the same year, 1893, he basically did this version, which is the most famous version of the scream, which was used oil color and pastel color additionally, and tempera. And this painting is actually at the moment in National Gallery in Oslo in Norway. But it was actually stolen in 1994, and when the thieves stole it, they left a note to the security guards. Thank you for the poor security. But after that, luckily, they found the painting without any damage in 2 months, which is perfect. I think they were really, really lucky. In 1895, he basically painted the lithography stones because he wanted to produce the scream easily. So he basically painted this also, I think maybe for himself. And in the same year, in 1895, he painted another version of it, which was a little bit softer, I guess. And this one was sold in an auction for almost $120 million to Leon Black. He is actually an investor and an art collector. Later on, they say it was worth it for each penny. In 1910, he basically painted another one again, tempera on cardboard, and it was in Munch Museum. But unfortunately, it was stolen. And after 2 years, they recovered it. However, it was damaged. There were water on the painting, and I think somehow they dropped water on it. And while they were trying to remove the glass, they basically broke it and they scratched some parts of painting, and there were even glasses inside the painting. And once experts found it, they were really sad and they started to work on it. However, they decided to keep it as it is, because once they try to recover it, maybe it would be even worse than actual situation. So basically they left it as it is. It is still in Munch Museum in Oslo. Later on, he painted this one as well. Basically, this composition was covering the central figure from the scream, This one is also in another museum, so you can find it in Universal Museum of Bergen. So in the second version of the Scream, which is the most popular one, the experts somehow found white stains on the painting, and they were thinking maybe he was painting outside and these are maybe the bird droppings, or maybe it's just white color he was just using. But then the University of Antwerp in Belgium, they basically x-ray the painting, and they realized this was not white color and this was not bird droppings, it was actually wax. So they are thinking most probably this wax is coming from a candle in his monk's studio while he was painting. But they don't know, of course, if he was doing it on purpose, or maybe he wrongly dropped it. Also, when Leon Blake was buying this one of the version of this painting, the seller actually told something really interesting. His father was Edvard Munch's friend, so that's why he basically had this painting, and he sold this to $120 million. The seller of this painting basically told that the Scream is about global warming and man's destruction of his own planet. He also said that the Scream shows him the terrifying moment when man realizes his own impact on nature. So maybe he was right, maybe Edvard Munch wanted to explain the global warming, or maybe not. But nevertheless, this painting is so famous. We also see this painting still in some of these movies, or even these emojis, or some cartoons, or even this Halloween mask. That's all from my side today. Thank you so much for watching me, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel, don't forget to like my video, and I hope you see you in the next video. Ciao!
Are you reading?